In this update, Jacang Maher introduces a Newswire series on prisons.
The current issue of Yes magazine, titled Beyond Prisons, looks at incarceration in the United States and also explores alternatives to our current system of punishment and banishment. So over the coming weeks, we are going to be bringing you interviews with some of the Yes magazine contributors on this topic. And our first guest, journalist Patrice Gaines. She is an author, a motivational speaker, and a prison reform activist. Patrice, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's great to be with you.
So Patrice, your professional career, you've worked for the Washington Post as a reporter, you've written a book, but there is one aspect of your resume that happened years and years ago, but as you wrote in your article in the current issue of Yes magazine, it is an aspect that has caused you trouble and difficulty keeping jobs and maintaining some jobs in different ways. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Like millions of Americans, I have a criminal record. When I was 21 years old, I was charged with possession of heroin with intent to distribute and possession of a needle and syringe. I actually had a drug problem, a drug addiction, and I went to jail. I was fortunate that I only had to stay in jail 3 weeks. However, I got a 5-year probation, which I thought I was fortunate for that also. It was before all of the mandatory sentencing we have now and the harsh drug laws. But what I didn't know was when I got out, I was facing something that I had never faced before, and that was constant judgment and rejection. I couldn't get a job because people looked at my background and no one wanted to hire me. Which makes it difficult. I was a single mom, so it made it very difficult for me to take care of my daughter. But also, people get rejected, when they have criminal backgrounds and aren't allowed to live in certain places. It just, every time I was rejected also, what it did for me was it re-afflicted me, I guess you could say. I suffered from low self-esteem, and when you're constantly told that you're nothing and nobody because of a mistake you made when you were younger, then you come to believe that you really are nobody. After what has happened to me over and over the years, I started being quite interested, in how we handle punishment, crime and punishment in this country. And I found out that there is a philosophy called restorative justice that really dates back. There's some debate about exactly where it started, but we do find it in a lot of indigenous cultures. And what you do in restorative justice, instead of a separate body, such as the prosecutor, the court, the state, punishing someone, the community comes together to decide what should happen to this person.
And so when the community comes together and they kind of collectively decide what the solution should be, where are we starting to see some of these programs, and what is some of the work that you're doing in here, just real quickly?
Yeah, well, we do see those all over the place. In Wisconsin, I talk to people who have several different programs there. I remember a case myself in Norfolk, Virginia, that where a young guy had a car accident. He had stolen his family car, had a car accident, hit an older woman who was in a car, and he left her. She was injured. So what happened when the community came together in that case, the community was this woman, her family, his family, somebody from the courts. And what they decided was this young man needed, one, to see this woman physically, and so that she could have her say. And she told him that what hurt her more than anything was that he left her. So often people who commit crimes don't see the person that they commit a crime against. I thought that, I committed a crime against no one because it was drugs. So in cases like that, in that case, they had him work to pay for the damage caused, but also he did personal work for her. It was supervised.
So it's an alternative way to pay back society for your crime.
To pay back, and you don't have that criminal record and that stigma, and you have dignity and respect, and you really learn of the harm that you cause. You see it.
Well, it certainly should be something that our system should look into, given the enormous cost both to the system and also to communities for the high rates of incarceration in the United States. So, Patrice Gaines, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much.